Hello and a very big warm welcome to the Soul Sync podcast. I'm Jason Paul. Now, if you're clicking on this podcast for the first time, wondering what the Soul Sync is all about, well, let me tell you. We ask the why and the questions that matter about all things to do with spirituality, the spirit world, energy, healing, the universe. Honestly, the list is endless, but it's all designed to nourish your soul and illuminate your path forward. And if you're joining the Soul Sync again, welcome back. It's great to have you here. Now, this next guest, I tell you, I've been so excited to release this episode because there's a bit of a story. My own mediumship, how is that going? Well, I've had some profound experiences recently with the spirit world, and I really think that I'm starting to make tracks on knowing what my path is, why am I doing what I'm doing, and so many things have come to me recently, which I'm going to talk about in a whole separate episode. Because there's a number of things I want to address which I think you might find quite interesting. But this episode today is all about a medium, a trance medium called Niko. And in the coming episodes as well, I'm also going to release the full trance reading he did for me. So if you're interested to see trance or find out what it's all about, then that episode will be released soon. So Niko's story begins in the bustling streets of New York, where as a child he sensed energies swirling around him, whispering secrets of unseen worlds. But it was a fateful encounter in his childhood bedroom that forever altered the course of his life. One ordinary day, as Niko played alone in his room, a familiar energy enveloped him, drawing him into an ethereal dance of light and presence. Through his innocent eyes, he beheld three radiant figures bathed in celestial luminescence, their gentle smiles offering reassurance amidst his fear. Through young Niko's heart raced with trepidation. A sense of comfort washed over him as the figures spoke soothing words assuring him of his safety. It was a moment that transcended the ordinary, imprinting upon him a profound understanding of the unseen forces that shape our reality. Despite the passing years, Niko continued to feel the presence of these guiding spirits, their energy a constant source of solace and protection during moments of darkness and uncertainty. Haunted by questions of existence and the mysteries of the afterlife, Niko embarked on a quest for truth that led him down unexpected paths. From the bustling streets of New York to the tranquil shores of a Greek island, Niko's journey was marked by moments of revelation and rediscovery. But it was the ancient art of trance mediumship that truly illuminated Niko's path, offering a direct conduit to the spirit world and a profound sense of connection with the divine. Through trance, Niko discovered a sacred communication with spirit, a transformative journey that continues to shape his life and his purpose to this day. Now, honestly, I love Niko's energy. I really enjoyed the conversation, and I think you're gonna love it too. Enjoy. So Niko, a massive warm welcome to the Soul Sync podcast.
Thank you, Jason. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, we're going to have an action-packed hour, I know, because there's so much to your story. When I was reading the notes, refreshing myself this afternoon, the first thing that jumped through my mind was, what a story. I'm going to jump straight into it, and I'm going to ask you, Niko, tell us about, because it all got started for you at a very young age.
That's right.
Tell us, and I just want to say from the get-go, because there's lots of people watch the podcast as well as listen. Niko is currently sat, and if you're listening to this, he's sat in a blue light, and the most amazing red light is swirling around. Niko, during this podcast today, is going to do a trance medium reading for us, which I am super excited about. But if you're wondering why he sat in a blue room with red light swirling around, you could tell me before we started recording, but the red light is actually his spirit guides and spirit energies around him, which is mesmerizing to watch. But that's the reason why he sat in the dark. So you've got that to look forward to. But Niko, over to you. Tell us about your story, because it's fascinating.
You know, it's when I was young, I always had the ability to feel energy. Now, of course, as a kid, you know, you really can't make much sense out of it. My mom had said that I used to have imaginary friends. I mean, I was very a creative mind. it wasn't until one day I was playing in my room and this bright light started appearing from the window. And as this, like, in The Wizard of Oz, when Glenda comes with a little tiny ball of light and it becomes really big, that's exactly what that vision was like. A little ball came in of light and manifested even larger, and then three figures appeared. Angelic looking, just figures. And they were speaking to me, and it totally frightened me. I called for my mother, and she ran into the room. And the irony was that when she ran in, they were still there. And I was pointing to them, and she thought, of course, I had an overactive imagination. And then finally, they walked away. They went back out the window again. But I remember that essence, that feeling, the energetic feeling that I would always receive, became even stronger. And from that point on, that's the energy I always felt around me.
Because this continued, this was happening constantly throughout your childhood, these experiences.
Very much so. The visions, the feeling of the energies would always frighten me. I had a hard time sleeping at night. It always occurred back in my room at night when I went to sleep. It's as if they were always around in my room. Even though I felt them throughout the day, it was more prominent in my room, and I would never sleep. I'd always have nightmares that were just constantly going on for years.
When I was reading through your notes, what kind of really dawned on me was, obviously, I think as a lot of young people do, you were very embracing in this energy and would actually have conversations
Yeah.
with the energy. How tell us more about that.
It just felt safe. It felt safe. It's just that I knew they were around. Again, I saw little visions of people, like, regular people, not the angels, again, regular people. So I just started speaking to them. I thought they were my friends. That happened when I was younger. As I got older, though, the energy would always appear and be very strong. If I was in a situation where I didn't feel comfortable or something frightened me, or just you kind of get a sense of somebody. I believe we all have these energies. We all have this feeling. If somebody comes into your space and it's just not the right energy, something is wrong with them, you could pinpoint, like, you're asking what's their motive. That's your own sixth sense. But in reality, what that is that's your spirit team, right? So, like, even though I saw those entities come through, they're part of my spirit team. They're still with me now. They're actually the ones that are the dominant ones throughout my trance. So we all have the spirit team around us. You feel your energy, the hairs on your neck rise when something. That's not you. That's the spirit team. They're coming close to you. Now, your auric field, okay? Your auric field is your soul. The auric field is your essence. It comes all around your body. I believe that the energy of that auric field is truly your soul, which is larger than your body. So a little bit is out there. If you ever see these Orthodox icons, Jesus has a halo around his head. That's the auric field. So when your spirit team comes close and they're made of energy, and their energy brushes against your outer layer of the auric field, you feel the sensation. Like if I was to come up behind you and slowly creep my way to surprise you, once my energetic field touches yours, you'll turn around because you sense something. All this is spirit. All this is how spirit works, and they're with us always.
Hey there, fellow soul seekers. Are you feeling the vibes of this episode swirling through your auric field? I know I am. But before we dive back into this enlightening conversation, I want to take a moment to chat with you. If you're enjoying the deep insights and soulful discussions on the Soul Sync, then I want to invite you to join our community by hitting that subscribe or follow button. And by doing so, you'll never miss a beat, and you'll be supporting us in our mission to spread positivity and spiritual growth. But wait, there's more. Your feedback is invaluable to me, so why not take a moment to write me a review, share your thoughts, ask questions, and let's spark some soulful conversations together. And who knows, your review might even be featured on the show. So let's keep the energy flowing. Subscribe, follow, leave a review, and let's continue to grow and evolve on this incredible journey. Thank you to all of you for being part of the Soul Sync family. What you're saying is fascinating, and I want to come on to that, but I want to rewind a little bit, because you grew up in New York to a Greek Orthodox
Ah,
family,
yeah.
and you are a self-described black sheep of the family, but you were always questioning the church's teachings.
Right.
How did that kind of impact on your? Because that it sounds to me
Yeah.
like that must have had a big impact on your mediumship in those early days.
Right. I did it. I closed it all down basically because you know what? I always believed in a past life. The church doesn't believe in past lives. The church's true belief is that Jesus will walk the earth again. So everybody who has perished, their souls have not gone to heaven yet. They have to all wait until Jesus walks the earth again to be risen and taken back to heaven. So I'm like, that's not possible. There's no way. Like my grandmother would come to my dreams when I was a kid after they passed away. They came to my dreams and spoke to me like it's an everyday happening. I'm like, well, grandma came to my, you're imagining it. My mom would say, you're imagining it. It's your overactive imagination from when you were a kid. They kept pinning it on this, but I'm like, there's something more to this. It can't just be my imagination. So I always, when we had these discussions in Sunday school or whatever, I always question the priest. That's not true. I don't believe it. Because again, I always felt spirit's energy near me. So I knew something was out there. Just couldn't, I was too young to understand what that was. I just didn't understand what I was feeling, but I used it as a barometer, measuring stick of keeping me safe. And it especially came very powerful when I was uncertain of circumstances or people or whatever the case is. So it was definitely beneficial for me at that time.
So you went through your childhood, you were having these experiences, obviously somewhat bit of a disconnect there because of what the religion
Yes,
and
100%.
that really kind of played a part. Then you had an interest in past lives. You got to 19 years old, and
Yeah.
it sounded like the most awful time. Tell us about that and the experiences that followed with you and your cousin Frank.
Yeah. We, I have two sisters, but Frank was my cousin. We were 3 months apart, and he was my brother, the brother I never had. So we did everything together. We had dreams. We went to high school together. It was absolutely a beautiful, beautiful relationship. He was driving. His girlfriend was in the front seat, and I was in the back. And I'll never forget this. We were at a street light, and he turned and spoke to his girlfriend and told her something about he loved her, whatever. I forgot what he was saying. But he turned to me in the back seat, reached out his hand, and I'll never forget these words. He said to me, he said, if I had the opportunity to go on a faraway journey and was allowed to bring one person with me, how I would love that to have been you. Now, this is out of the clear blue. We're at a streetlight. This is like, it makes no sense. I took nothing from that. The next light, we got hit by a car chasing a red light, passing a red light, being chased by police. And that was it. This car spun around. I remember I fell in the back seat. All the glass from the entire car was on my back. But what I remember distinctively was when I fell in the back seat, I felt a body, the weight of an entire body on top of me. Just laying across from head to toe, a body, like just protecting me. And
Wow.
I remember feeling like it was yesterday. And nothing happened to me, nothing. So he was brain dead, and he died 5 days later. And in the hospital, second miracle in the hospital, I was holding his hand, and I was just thinking, and I could literally hear his voice come to life. And he's telling me that he's in a great place, and he's with me, and not to cry, and not to worry, and whatever. And these kind of little miracles happened, or little phenomena that you really can't explain, happened constantly with other parts of the family members. Now, for me, for a year passed, and then he started showing up. Visions. I felt him. I could hear his voice distinctly calling my name in the distance. I would walk under any street light with my friends, no less. I had witnesses. And as I passed the street light, the light would turn off. And then as I was underneath it would turn off, and I would pass it, would turn back on again. Light after light after light. And New York has a lot of lights, street lights, so it was happening constantly. And it wasn't until I was walking home, and I was going through a park, and I was just thinking about him a lot. And I could literally hear his voice, like he was standing next to me. And I was walking alone in this park, and he was mentioning something about what I feel, that whole ability to feel the essence of spirit. He's like, this is like your ticket. This is your key. Pay very close attention to that because that's going to help evolve your abilities. I'm like, what abilities? It's just like, just pay attention to that. Like he didn't give me a lot of information of the future, just told me where to bring my focus. And I even use that a lot now in my teachings on it's not about going into something, to learn a craft, to learn anything or the ability to connect with spirit. It's where is your focus? One with spirit, if you bring your focus to that energy, that's all you need to do. If you bring that focus to the spirit energy, the connection I was telling you when they come close to you, and your mind is there, you allow your mind to calm down than all the rapid thoughts it has. And this connection grows. The feeling manifests. And you just can't help but be sucked into that pull of the spirit energy. So now years later, I know what he meant by those words then.
What do you feel that he meant by the words? How do you interpret it now?
Because it's all about the subtle connection of spirit is feeling their essence. We all have an essence, right? Even when people do evidential mediumship, and I do that as well, most evidential mediums can connect to the spirit world, your loved ones who come in with you, but it's like at a distance. It's like they're there, like you're looking into a TV screen. You're just kind of with them. But when you actually could feel their essence and they're aware you are feeling their essence, they come closer to you. And if you're not afraid, which you shouldn't be afraid, by you feeling their essence, you're kind of reliving their earthly life. So then all of a sudden, all their information is coming into your head, in your memories. Their memories are your memories. Their pain is your pain. You can feel how they died. Everything is just clear as day. And you're just telling the person in front of you what's happening, and you're accurate. It's fascinating. And then the beauty of it is when you allow them to come that close and blend with you, and your focus is all about that feeling, now you're giving them access, and they can come and speak through you to their loved ones. And that's when the waterworks happen. That's when a lot of healing occurs. That's when there's a lot of proof. That's just beautiful at that point. That's a gift. That's beautiful.
Niko, I absolutely love your passion for the spirit world and mediumship. I'm sitting on the edge of my seat here, and
you can do it too.
well, do you know what? We're going to come on to talk about this. I keep wanting to take you back to further back in your story, but I just can't stop you, Niko, from talking about the spirit world and the current. So I'm just going to roll with it. So I want to talk about, because something that you've put in your guest form before we got started, and I'm not going to lie, it did jump out at me, and it did. I did find myself reading it again. Was you put that you believe anyone interested in any modality that serves the spirit world should first focus on trance mediumship. Now, my experience of trance mediumship is consigned to hearing people who've experienced it, reading about it in books. But I've come the opinion of trance mediumship that I've got is that something you can only do if you're advanced. So you're probably going to dispel a few myths here. But why? First of all, why do you feel that that's the best doorway in, and how do people accomplish that? And tell us more about trance mediumship.
You know, there's other people that they claim the opposite. People are saying that you have to be born with the talent of connecting in that kind of a pure connection to spirit. Others have said that their spirit guide had come through and said, no, not everybody can do trance. My spirit guides have come through and said, yeah, everybody can do trance. So again, it's a perspective. It's what somebody perceives. And a lot of mediums also, I'm realizing that if there's not such a deep connection where they're really not present while spirit is speaking, it's their thoughts, their perception of things that also are an influence on spirit's words. So that's why you have contradicting stories on what can and cannot be done. From my personal experience, first of all, it is by far the purest connection to spirit. Because all trance is, like I said earlier, you're allowing the essence of spirit to join with your essence. So when they first come close to you and you ask them to come close to you, you feel certain sensations. It's your body, it's your knowledge, it's your persona understanding what that is. by a sensation. Heat, cold, chills, whatever the case is, okay? The same with evidential mediumship, where you're using your five senses, your clairs, your five senses, sight, hearing. You're using what you came in with. So it's the same thing with trance. You're allowing the feel to grow and blend with you. Why everyone can do it is because we're all of love. We all have a heart. Okay, if you really think about it, that's your essence is in your heart. You don't think about loving something, it just happens naturally. When beautiful moments occur to you, it's a natural reaction in your heart. It's not your mind manifesting the feeling, it just occurs naturally. Your mind will, of course, manifest everything else. If you put your hand over the stove, it says the neurons, oh, I burn my hand. Your mind is working with everything else, but the heart is pure. This is where spirit connects with you, through your heart.
I'm not sure if I'm asking a question which is going to take so long to answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway, because there's a lot of mediums that listen to this show of all different levels, people at the beginning of their journey, and I'd put myself in that category as well, but also very seasoned people. If someone wants to achieve a trance blend and do this step by step, how does someone allow that to happen?
Trust and sit in the moment. Okay, so trance is about the feel, not about the mind. So first of all, it's very important to understand how to ease the mind, slow your thoughts down. It's okay. You can never calm the mind down totally. So it's okay if a thought pops in while you're focusing on the altered state of consciousness to drop deeper. It's okay to accept a thought, accept it, acknowledge it, and let it go. Don't ponder that thought. Then you're never going to fall into trance. Okay, right now we're speaking in the beta wavelengths. The hertz, the brain pattern is in a certain 13 hertz and over is what we're speaking right now. When you do meditation, when you calm yourself down a little bit, you're dropping under 13. And that's when people, mediums, are able to connect the spirit with evidential. Then you drop under 8, 7.5. to 3.5. You're dropping even further. It's a very deep, relaxed state where your mind is not really conscious of anything, and you're able to focus on that spirit blend. So your body relaxes, your heart rate slows, your breath slows. You're becoming a version of your soul, how I see it. Without all the craziness and exterior part of life, you're calmed down and your essence is pure and spirit joins right with you. They don't ever enter your body. They just blend very, very close to you. Now, the breath that you speak your words in is also your energy. It's part of your soul. It's yours, right? So if you could feel them approaching your auric field and feel that, their essence, and feel whatever manifests, whatever sensation, next, you're going to feel them in your heart, because that's what the connection is, right? So, of course, the natural flow of their energy cycle is coming to your throat. So if you just allow and trust that along the way, they merge with your energy and they form the words that speak through you. And that's trance.
Do you, and I'm talking about, I guess, current day, do you remember, or do you remember afterwards what's happened? Or
so you have different levels of trance. The lighter trance state, where many who begin, you'll always hear that when you first begin, is 10% spirit, 90% you. They always say that phrase. Because what's happening is that even though you are drifting, you're still hovering between 7.5, 8.5. You're still kind of going between the theta and the alpha state. You're not really in either one. So what's happening here is you're receiving like telepathic messages like you do in evidential, but you could be receiving, like downloading a script of what they're going to say. So they're kind of like, is storing it here and you're saying it. You're the middleman. But the more you trust, because it's a lot of trust. People, it took me like 3 months to really trust. I kept thinking I was going to get possessed, all these Hollywood movies. Whatever's embedded in your mind is way inside of you, that you have like an underlying threshold of fear. So we never really passed that. We get to the point that we kind of stop ourselves. And that's what doesn't let you go to the deepest possible state. Once you pass that underlying fear, it's like you're really falling, and spirit catches you. That's the trust. They catch you and you're safe. And then you're allowed to drift back. But again, it's the understanding of who's coming through you, right? My spirit team is like my family. Your spirit team is your family. They've been with you since the beginning. This is what you feel, your instinct, your gut, your intuition. This is all the spirit team working with you. It's on a very intimate level that only you and your spirit team have. I don't have the connection with your spirit team like you have with mine. It's totally individualized. So I trust them. I love them. People are afraid like, oh, negative energies are going to come in. I don't believe there's any negative energies in the spirit world. None. I haven't come across one yet through evidential or trance. It's all love. We are love, right? Why do I believe that everyone is meant to do trance? Because first of all, the changes in our world right now, this huge awakening process is happening. Okay, all this is happening. Spirit needs more voices to speak from.
Well, it's I can't disagree with you there. I 100% agree with you. Yes.
Why would they limit who can do trance and who doesn't if they need those voices? Logically, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, it doesn't.
Right?
No.
Exactly. Second of all, my thinking. Okay, this is me, and this is kind of new. You'll always hear people saying that we have a higher self. So like not all of your soul has come to this, or your essence has come to this body, it's still there, or it's living in a different dimension simultaneously. Two different worlds going on, two different lives. That can happen too. We don't know about it because it would just not serve as a purpose in this particular life. But there is a higher self, right? And you're connected to it as a soul. So now what's to say that by me connecting more so and more closely with my spirit team, not only for trance, what people don't understand is not just the trance part of it or the speaking or the healing or whatever you get out of it, but if you connect, you yourself, if you connect to a pure love through your heart and you receive nothing but love, nothing but embracing, nothing but comfort, don't you think that you would change as a person in this life and be more loving?
Well, of course.
Exactly. That's why I believe everyone should do trance, because that's the only modality that you could connect in the heart so deeply that it affects you. So now, by me connecting like this through the heart and very, very deep and intimate, I've changed as a person. I'm much more loving, more compassionate, generous, forgiving, less ego. In my imagination now, by me being more soul-like in this world, am I not essentially helping my higher self ascend in the spirit world by what I'm doing here?
Yes, you are.
So now, why shouldn't everybody do trance?
I think do you know what it is? I think it's, like you said, I think it's fear.
Exactly, it's fear.
I think it is driven by fear. And I know that fear has held me back a lot in my mediumship, because I think I think religion does play a big part of this.
Yeah, of course.
We're made to think about evil spirits and this, that, and the other. And I know myself, even, I wasn't even brought up in a religious household, and even I've got these connotations which I've had to work on myself. You've obviously taught a lot of people. Is there kind of a typical thing that people trip up on when they're trying to develop their trance, or typical things that you come across in your travels of when people are trying to do this?
A lot of them have fear, but it's their own fear, their own belief, their own mind, their own perception of what's reality and what's not. I never focus on the speaking part of it. I believe that anytime you connect with spirit, you're receiving healing and giving healing. You don't have to be in trance healing mode. I think that connection brings healing always. So even when you are speaking, you'll hear spirit's word, but you'll feel their essence. So you're kind of receiving healing as the recipient, regardless, not even knowing it. That's how they're working through everybody. What I always emphasize in the teachings, and I even have a Wednesday weekly circle, and it's trance development. It's like you come at any level you want. There's no expectations. You hear so many different versions of people's thinking. It's like if you do evidential, you'll hear you have to put the father's side on the right side, the mother's on the left side. It's so confusing for people that they give up. So I just kind of let them go. And it's a natural development between you and your spirit team. I could never tell you what to do. The spirit team is guiding you. So what I focus on a lot is them focusing on their breath, them relaxing their mind and focusing on that connection, on the essence of that spirit. Because when they can finally do this effectively, and that love is strong, spirit's taking away your fear. They're replenishing you with love and support and confidence. And then people are like, they want more of that. It's a deep connection, and I feel great. And they cry a lot because they're releasing those wounds inside. The other thing is, if we don't allow spirit, if we don't connect with spirit to allow them to help us remove those deep wounds we have, we're never going to heal. We're never going to change in this world. We're never going to help this world change and others in our world change. Right? So if spirit comes close to you through the heart, what they're doing essentially is they're kind of like slowly taking your pain away. And that's why a lot of tears come out. There's a lot of healing through these tears. But then each time you go back in it again, you're aware that love, you feel more confident, you're stronger, you trust more, the fears are gone, and then the connection occurs. And it's amazing, amazing.
I've gone through a period recently where I haven't really sort of felt any presence or spirit people. Why would you say I'm not potentially feeling them at the moment?
Because your awareness isn't there.
Right. Okay. And I guess to follow on, how does one increase their awareness?
It's very subtle. Okay. If you walk around and you're not on your phone, if you're not talking to people, if you're not engaged in the world around you, try to walk in a busy area and just stop and stare. Take your time and look at the subtleties. You'll notice the bird, you'll notice the butterfly landed in your hand. A lot of beautiful things happen when you're not so stuck in the world as we know it. We're so busy from the minute we wake up to the minute we go to sleep that we're constantly thinking, we're constantly moving, our mind is going 1,000 times a minute. So many subtle, beautiful messages are being sent our way, we miss them all. So when you sit in your silence, dim the lights, calm your mind down, bring your awareness, set your attention. I want to feel spirit. I want to feel your essence. My spirit team. You speak to your spirit team individually. I want to feel your essence. Please come close to me. You're setting the intention. Of course they're going to come to you with love and slowly, and you're silencing your mind. You're just calming down. That's where you feel it. When this connection occurs and you know what to look for now, what to expect, now you receive it out in the world all day long. They're always around you. And that's where the awareness is.
Niko, I love your energy. I could talk to you all day long. You're making my job very, very easy because I'm really not having to say anything.
What's funny is that sorry to cut you off here. We all live in our world. Yes. We all have suffer, heartache, pain, betrayal, loss. It's a similar journey for everybody. Okay, there's so many people that just get so sucked into their experiences that they get lost. They can never find a way out. Or a lot of them are in relationships that they just don't have that love and they just settle anyway. And they're kind of walking like zombies. They just kind of live in their lives. Whatever small little passion they have on their hobbies or whatever the case is exhausted when they're doing it and then there's nothing else. Right? What are we doing? We're all losing sight of our soul, of what's inside of us. But again, that love you have when you hold a newborn baby in your hands for the first time, your first kiss, first time you fell in love, when your mother held you when you hurt your leg, all this beautiful, pure love that we've had, there's not enough of those moments. There's more heartache and difficulties than that pure love moments. So when you make a connection to the spirit world, you are receiving nothing but love. Your heart is enlarged, it's taking all this love. How could you not be passionate? How could you not go out there with more oomph in your step? Because as soon as this is over and the connection is gone and you go back to your real world, it's a disappointment. Whenever you hear a trance medium come back or the spirit leaves, like, I hate coming back because what's happening with that connection to the spirit world so deeply, it's as if we're back in that world for that brief moment. And that's because you're connected to your higher self who's helping you be the channel in trance. And you're in that. You're just transported to their world for the half an hour the session's going on for. And it's incredible. You hate to come back. That's where the passion comes from and the excitement. Because I've been feeling them around me this whole time. I'm like, ooh, yeah.
Well, I think, Niko, this leads us really nicely onto you demonstrating some trance mediumship for us. I will just say to everyone listening and the audience, Niko is going to take a few minutes to prepare. We are going to edit this out just so if you're listening, he hasn't gone straight into it. He has taken a moment to get himself ready. But rather than you sit in silence with us, we'll edit this out. So, Niko, over to you.
So what happens here now is that I take about 2, 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm doing is I'm just relaxing my body. I'm lowering the brain hertz. I'm calming myself down. I ask my spirit team to come near me. I feel them. And then I just kind of surrender to it, to the love, and they come through and they speak. They might speak to you for a few minutes. They might ask you if you understand to prompt the connection. They
Uh-huh.
may ask you for a question. Whatever they're doing is basically you have a one-to-one experience with spirit.
I'm very excited.
I'm happy.
I'm sat on the edge of my seat. Niko.
And then what's also really beautiful is that when I feel this strong surges of love coming through me, I'm aware that they're sending that to you. So you may actually feel the essence of spirit around you or near you or in your heart or whatever the case is. So look for
Well, I'm going
that.
to be telling you exactly how I feel, and we'll be doing a full uh, debrief at the end, so everyone's going to listen to that. But over to you. I will sit here and very quietly.
Wonderful. Thank you. Greetings to you, my dear one. It is an honor and a privilege to connect with your beautiful energy. There is much gratitude toward you for the service in which you are offering. Your ability through your devices to connect the world. You should be as proud as yourself, my dear one, as we are of you. For your desire, passion to connect the world is quite admirable. The essence of your soul, my dear one, is a reflection of who you are in this world. Compassionate, generous, patient, understanding. We even have, as you yourself have experienced your pains in this lifetime. You have always managed an ability to look beyond the hurt, to understand why it occurred. You always possess the ability, my dear one, to view the bigger picture, if you will, and which is why, in turn, you are dedicating your time to service both worlds within your particular modality. One who lives in physical form can never truly escape the essence of their true being. It is listening to the heart. It is trusting your intuition. And you, my dear one, are quite effective with this. And much gratitude is sent to you. I trust there is a question you wish to ask.
Yes.
You may proceed, my dear.
Am I living my soul's true purpose currently? And if not, how do I do so?
You are on the correct course, my dear. What will be asked of you is to also bring through the connection of our world much more consistently through you and your connection, through others and their connections. You already possess the answer, my dear one. For these are questions you have asked yourself. And you are aware where you feel the strongest pull. And yet you question if you bring that forth, will people still follow and listen? For the power you currently possess of reaching so many, my dear, can benefit all greatly as you allow more from our world to make their presence felt, their words heard, where you allow them as well to receive the love within their hearts and the belief of our existence and that we are very near. For in turn, my dear one, you are effectively shining a bright light to those dark places of the world where many have lost hope within themselves, within the physical world, where many feel great fear, question the future, question their abilities. You have a beautiful connection with our world. It is the trust which is lacking at times. The belief in yourself and your ability to connect. For many who follow you, my dear one, once they recognize these limitations you put upon yourself and are witness to your particular growth and development right before their very eyes, will receive an abundance of hope and much clarity. And they will each feel connected to our world more intimately. So I encourage you, my dear one, bring along our world to assist you through your connection, through your experiences. Be the teacher for many, my dear one. Teach as you learn. For you are in a great position of power. Your heart has always been in the right place. And you have a true love for the spirit world. For you, my dear one, it is a matter of combining the three. And within that, you will see clarity. You'll see clarity, the continued path you are about to take. I trust this has answered your question, my dear one.
Yes, thank you very much.
You are a loving and kind soul. I am aware of your essence. You also have quite a powerful group of beautiful spirits who are joining you on this journey. Quite powerful indeed. Time is drawing near, my dear one, for you on this particular journey to truly connect with them. Become aware of who they are and how they are meant to serve you for your soul's development and growth. For all your achievements in this physical world, all you have learned through relationships and hardship, love and pain, and for all your accolades, for reaching so many from a heartfelt space, truly mean nothing, my dear one, if the soul is not developing. But rest assured, for each experience you have lived through, each pain felt, your soul has been developing tremendously. Within this connection, my dear one, to those beautiful spirits near you, clarity, support, love shall all be felt in your future clearer. As you join the path with those spirits and service both worlds as you were intended to do so. Is that clear, my dear?
Yes, thank you.
I thank you. Much gratitude for allowing us to be heard through your device at this time. And for connecting with you and your beautiful energy. I am aware there is not much time. It has truly been an honor.
Thank you.
And now I'm back.
Wow. Thank you so much for doing that. When you were, I definitely, funny enough, when you were, well, I say when you were, during that reading, one thing that's happened to me a lot when I've been trying to sit within my presence or whatever is I feel this fuzzing around my head, and I could feel it really strongly, the energy all around me when you were when that was taking place. And actually the messages that came through there were exactly right. I have been doubting my ability and struggling to connect, and a lot of what you said there really had a profound impact on me in that moment, and it made total sense. Are you able to identify who or what entity that was talking through you there, or
the familiarity of the energy I receive. Those three spirits who came as a child, they're on the celestial level. These are three that work together as one voice.
Wow.
So this is the energy I knew came through today. Which of the three, I don't know, because it's one energy. But what happens is I just actually had a reading before this podcast. And within that reading, all three took a turn speaking, and the voice changed, and the pattern of the speech changed. Mid-sentence, they switch. So what I'm able to do is I can feel a slight shift in energy, like, a little speed bump in the road. And that's how I know there's a change happening. But for me to sit there and focus on what just happened, it pulls me out of it.
Yeah, I can understand that.
So I just know the energy. I felt definitely a strong connection to you. So when I feel there's two things I felt really quick. The strong connection to you while I was feeling this energy, I was feeling like I was being sucked into the screen. My understanding of that is that the spirit was connecting to your energy very powerfully, that I could feel that, and I could feel like a little pull. The second thing is I could feel this really strong surge of power around me, like very loving and goosebumps and everything. And that's also them sending it to you, where you were able to sense their essence around you.
So yeah, I could feel it 100%.
Yeah,
I felt like it was almost like when you put an old-fashioned TV on there, it starts doing that fuzzy dot. I felt like that was happening all around me. It was the most fascinating thing to experience. So I can't thank you enough for that. And what you
Nah.
said, what was said to me was, you know, when something just hits you, Niko, and it goes straight to your heart, boom.
Yeah.
That's what happened for me there. And I think, I just think you are the most wonderful medium, the most wonderful teacher.
Thank you.
And
it's not me. It's not me. It's spirit. You see, I don't even know you. So look at the power of spirit. They came in and pinpointed things for you that resonated with you, and you felt them. I could never possibly do that, right? So this is the accuracy of spirit. They always know. They always understand what's going on just by connecting to your energy. It's fascinating.
It is fascinating, and I'm definitely going to be watching that all over again, because I was frantically scribbling notes, and I thought, no, Jason, why are you scribbling notes? You're recording it. This is a podcast, so yeah, I can't thank you enough.
Everybody takes notes. I don't know why they record it too. I'm gonna offer you as my gratitude a session with me, an hour-long session whenever you want. It's 75 minutes. We're going to trance 101. You and spirit. I call it coffee time with spirit. So it's yours whenever you want.
Thank you so much. Well, Niko, if people want to find out more about you, also about what you do in terms of your development circles, where can they go to?
The Facebook, the page is first name Niko, Niko, second name Medium, Niko Medium. Instagram is Niko the Medium, and my website is NikoTheMedium.com. I'm making it nice and easy for everybody. Niko the Medium.
You are. It's very, very unlike mediums normally to make this easy when it comes to websites on the show. It will be in the show notes if you do want to find out more about Niko. And I must say, you know, if it really hit me in the heart. So, you know, I can't recommend you enough. Niko, thank you
sweet.
for coming onto the Soul Sync podcast.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure, and I'm honored, and I'm very happy. Thank you.
Now, I absolutely loved Niko's energy. It's left me on a massive high there, and I hope you liked it too. A big thank you for joining me on another enlightening episode of Soul Sync. If you want to stay in the loop with the Soul Sync podcast, it's easy. Simply hit the follow show button wherever you listen to your favourite podcast, and by following us, you really are supporting the show. If you're enjoying the podcast, can I ask a favour? Please take a moment to leave a review wherever you tune in. Your feedback really does mean the world. Now, if you want to get involved in the conversation with our community, as well as hearing from me with off-podcast content, look at the bottom of the show notes where you'll find my Facebook page and newsletter function. If you have suggestions for future episodes, or perhaps there's a guest you'd love to see featured, or you might even have a story you'd love to share with our wonderful audience, simply email me at hello@jasonpaulmedium.com. Your stories and ideas really are the heartbeat of Soul Sync, and your input is invaluable in shaping the soulful conversations I bring to you. I'm Jason Paul. You've been listening to the Soul Sync. Until next time, goodbye.